fill. So for him, it's a tall order to go going up against a guy that's a returning All-American, ranked number 5 in the country, in Vic Avery.
Well, you just take a look at pure size here, and Avery just looks like a mountain of a man next to Prezzia here. But Prezzia in quickly on that single.
And a nice scramble
there.
There's
the scramble there by Avery.
And these guys are scrambling. This is where they stopped that for potentially dangerous, and a quick opportunity for Prezzia. Wasn't able to capitalize. You see the reaction there out of Avery, and Tim Flynn saying, lower your level.
Well, again, I tell you, you talk about the different weights that he's wrestled. He's been down to 165. He's wrestled some at 174 before. Talking about Dominic Prezzia for the Buckeyes. Up at weight 184 now, and going up against Vic Avery.
High crotch to a lift, and a nice scramble by Prezzia. So almost a reverse of the action from last time, but it looks like Avery's going to be in position now to score. All that Prezzia has holding on there is that arm in an inverted position, and there's 2 points for Vic Avery.
Vic Avery for the Edinboro Fighting Scots out to a 2-0 lead here, about a minute gone in the first period. Gold shoes shining bright there, ready for some action here, and Dominic Prezzia works back up to the feet, trying to secure that. No change. Prezzia will be down as they get back into the action.
You know, and for a guy like Prezzia, you know, here's a nice lift by Avery, and a nice, you know, funk roll there by Prezzia, but wasn't able to get his head up to be in the position where he's going. Talking about Prezzia, he's a guy that doesn't get a lot of credit. You know, he's not one of I guess the returning stars for the team, but a guy that certainly plays a role, because if you're a guy that can fill this weight class, instead of giving up, you know, a pin or a tech fall, if he just gives up a decision or a major decision, it's a small victory for the Buckeyes.
Absolutely. We talk about those bonus points, and Ohio State has been able to definitely take advantage of some of those in some earlier weight classes, as Nathan Tomasello, Bo Jordan, all getting some bonus points. Micah Jordan as well adding to it. Miles Martin with a major decision to get 4 team points as well for the Buckeyes. And again, not giving up some bonus points when you talk about Mike Muccini, who was able to hold off Anthony Rivera and not give up bonus points and just give up a decision.
Stalemate position called. Not a lot of advantage here, you know, in terms of the position. Just the double boots in, workman-like approach by Avery, but still, he's only up on the scoreboard 2-0. So if you're the better wrestler, if you're Vic Avery here and he's coming off an injury, this is really a test of your gas tank. But really, what you want to see out of the better wrestler is impose your will. And then if you're a guy like Dom Prezzia, slow it down. Let's keep it close and look for that one opportunity to score at the end.
See a little blood time here. Looks like an injury on the finger. Dom Prezzia, they're going to get that cleaned up. And this is if you're Vic Avery and you're coming back from an injury and you're worried about your gas tank, it's a nice little break here for you to kind of get things back to normal.
You'll see a little bit more juice coming out of him, and you see a guy like Vic Avery. Look at how built he is. That type of muscle mass requires a lot of oxygen. So you see these wrestlers that are built like a bodybuilder. It takes a little bit more in the gas tank for those guys to perform. You know, so you see these longer, leaner wrestlers, it's a little bit easier for them, you know, to keep that aerobic capacity up.
What we talked about him was an All-American last year, finishing third at 184 pounds, ending the year last year 34-7 record, had 3 falls, 9 major decisions. All of his losses last year come to guys who were ranked in the top 8 in the country. So he's a guy who's looking to improve on that 3rd place finish last year, maybe try to contend for that national title.
And Avery here letting him go. You know, again, we talked about that gas and got a little bit of blood time there. And you see Prezzia with an attack, a nice counter shot by Avery, kicks the leg out, and a good takedown there from him. He's up 4-1 now, and you see why he earned All-American status last year.
Very solid, and, you know, again, this is the time of the year that you really want to try to improve, and you see that single to a kick out and able to really just to kind of take advantage, and really strong, really solid on top, as you see a little bit more blood time going to be taken here by Dominic Prezzia, as they don't have that finger exactly cleaned up yet.
This is not what you want if you're Prezzia, because you're just giving Avery more opportunity to recharge the batteries and fuel the gas tank. And for a wrestler that's coming off an injury, that makes a big difference. That's the difference between, you know, a match that's under control and out of control. Wrestling in 10 and 30-second bursts when you're the smaller wrestler is not what you want to do.
I'll tell you what, this was a guy who was on the precipice last year. You talk about national champs. He took on Gabe Dean in the semifinals of Cornell last year in the NCAA tournament. Went to tiebreakers, and it ended up on riding time for the guy who would go compete for the national title. And Gabe Dean would get that difference and go on to win the NCAA title last year. But as we talked about, Vic Avery able to come back, 2 more upset wins. Had a win over number 6 seed Hayden Zilmer of North Dakota State, and a 3-2 win over Arizona State's Blake Stouffer, who was the number 3 seed in the 3rd place match to end up 3rd last year in the NCAA tournament. So again, this is a guy who was so close last year. Again, going down to tiebreak, riding time against Gabe Dean, who ended up winning the NCAAs. He's got to really be feeling it and really wants to get going. You see him choose right back to neutral here and getting right back to the action on his feet, trying to get another take.
Here, another head outside single attempt by Prezzia. Not able to come up, but he puts the leg underneath. And this is a spot where you got to get your head high. He's got to get his head high, sips underneath, and Avery's scrambling so well. And Prezzia in a spot where he's almost able to score, but again, high head, low hips. You see Vic Avery there. He's in position basically, if he can drive in here, if he just drives in a little bit, there you go, there's 2 points for Avery. And it's Prezzia just a little bit undersized here, some great attacks, but not able to capitalize for any points.
Yeah, I mean, you see the size difference. I mean, I'm sure you can see it on your screen here, but we can definitely see it in person. There's definitely a size difference, and that comes into play when you look at finishing these attacks.
Yeah, I mean, when you're undersized and you're going against a guy that's already has, you know, the career under his belt that Avery does, it's a tall order for a guy like Prezzia, and I think he's actually wrestled a pretty good match. He's had some great moments there, but a little bit overwhelmed by the physical stature of Vic Avery at this point.
Finally going to wind down here this first period. Avery going to take a 6-3 lead into the second. I'll tell you what, he looks to, I know we've had some breaks in the action here, but Vic Avery looks to really keep pushing the pace.
Yeah, I mean, and he's if you're Vic Avery, you took 3rd in the country last year, you're 1 match away from the finals, you're wrestling on Friday night at the NCAA tournament. I mean, you know what's going through his head. He's looking to get back to that position and looking to capitalize and win that NCAA title.
Prezzia starts down here, Avery on top, looking for a cradle. Finally gets it broken down, leg inside on the right side. Got that ankle, trying to bring that up as well. Prezzia back up to a knee, that leg right back in by Vic Avery. Now both of them in and flattened out.
Double boots position makes it very tough on this bottom guy. He's wrestling here. Not really in a position to turn Prezzia, but definitely he's getting his wind back. And there he's trying almost like a Italian leg Turk back bow type position. And Prezzia is going to be able to scramble almost for an escape. It was almost an opportunity to clear his hips there. Wasn't quite able to do it.
I'll tell you what, you see a real contrast in styles here between Ohio State and Edinboro. As we've seen, Edinboro really, they like the funk, they like the scramble positions. We saw the throw that Casey Fuller had against Bo Jordan to get some near fall points there. Now you see some of the exotic moves that they have from the top position as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the state of PA in general is a state that's so good at defense and top wrestling. They don't give you points easily. You see almost every single defensive position that was heavily contested this tonight ended up in a scramble. So they're very confident in fighting in positions that aren't traditional.
Escape there by Prezzia is going to bring the score to 4-6. 2 minutes and 19 seconds of riding time have been amassed by Vic Avery here as he continues to control the action here. Heavy hands, working that inside, looking for another leg attack.
Their head inside single attempt, and you said it. You said it, control the action. Even though Avery is not doing a lot more than Prezzia, he certainly controlled their nice post to a double, and 20 seconds left in the period. He's up 8-4 with already 2 minutes and 24 seconds of riding time.
A lot of horsepower there by Vic Avery with the post and going into the double there. Not a lot of fancy maneuvers, just a lot of brute strength and power in that one.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling at its core is a physical sport. I mean, it's one guy's strength and will against another guy. So there's a lot of technique, but sometimes it comes down to horsepower.
See right there, again, not a lot of technique, just a double leg and throws it over. Great job there by Vic Avery, looking like he's in pretty good form there. Going into the third period here with an 8-4 lead, 2 minutes and 39 seconds of riding time. Choosing bottom, right up to his feet, able to control the wrist. Prezzia's going to have to return him here, going to let him go, and he's going to let him go, and that'll bring it to 9-4.
And you saw something out of Avery there. He was actually looking for a stalling call, so he didn't even try to get away. Savvy wrestler said, I'm going to stay on my feet for 5 seconds, see if they call stalling, then I'll try to get away.
Right back to the underhook there. Prezzia tries to make something happen there out of the underhook with the kind of a head outside single position. Now he's back to the inside. Head stuffed down though, and Avery looking to really count.
So close a couple times for Prezzia, and some really nice, attacks, initial attacks, but not able to capitalize to the point where he ever got control of the hips.
Flattened out now, 11-4 is going to be the lead. Riding time is going to be secured as well, so it's going to really make that score 12-4, 4-point major decision. Avery's going to let him up there. 11-5. Going to look for another takedown. There's that stalling call. There's a point that's going to be delivered.
If you're Prezzia, 51 seconds is still a lot of time that you have to keep wrestling this match, and Avery at this point is really starting to show why he was third in the country last year. Nice high crotch attempt there, trying to shift that weight across, gets that arm out, secures the takedown, and now he's starting to impose his will. You see him shoving down on the head there of Prezzia, and this, if you're Prezzia, is not fun. This is not where you want to be.
So good with the hips there, as you talk about Vic Avery, just able to slide right across there. Again, nice attempt there as well, in deep on that leg, lifts it up. Prezzia's going to give that one up as well. About 15 seconds left here. 16-6 now the score. 16-7 with that escape by Prezzia. Under 10 seconds left. Another high crotch attempt there.
Nice lift.
Lift and able to get 2 points there at the end. Final score, Vic Avery looking in very, very good form. 19-7 with the riding time.